Hare Krishna, everyone. Dandavat pranam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Ji. Hare Bol. And Hare Krishna, Sharad ji, namaskar. Good to have you.
नमस्कार वरुण जी, नमस्कार. How are you?
बहुत अच्छे जी. आप बताएं, आप कैसे हैं?
बढ़िया बढ़िया.
Very nice. So good to have you. So Sharad ji, आप पहले ज्वाइन हो चुके हैं, तो हम इंग्लिश हिंदी दोनों में करते हैं. और हमने श्री ईशोपनिषद शुरू किया है. श्री ईशोपनिषद में 18 वर्सेस हैं, 18 मंत्रास हैं. तो हम थर्ड वर्स आज करेंगे. यूजुअली हम एक वर्स के ऊपर 2 दिन लगाते हैं, 2 क्लासेस. तो एक क्लास में हम इंट्रोड्यूस करते हैं, दूसरी क्लास में हम कंक्लूड करते हैं. So welcome, good to have you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Right.
Prabhuji, my pranam to you.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Dandavat pranam. So good to have you. Gosh, okay. So good, Mataji. Very good.
Always eager to join your class, Prabhuji, anytime.
It's your association, Mataji, which brings me back every week, again and again. So good to be in your association. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
So let's go along, and so we are doing Shri Īśopaniṣad, and there are many different presentations there. So we have Vedas, we have Puranas, and then in between we have Upanishads. There are 108 Upanishads, then the main 10 Upanishads, and one of the top one which talks directly about Ishwar is Shri Īśopaniṣad. And so there are many purports available. The one we are focusing is by Srila Prabhupada. Let's do the Mangalacharan, take the blessings, and then we shall resume our session. Ajnanatimirandasya Jnana-jana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam yena bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurun Shri Yuda Padkamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatha Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadhuvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Raghunath Vitam Tam Sahitam Tam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Paramami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gurudev Maharaj ki jai. Samved Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. In the Mangalacharan and in a lot of Vedic mantras, Om is the first word, and Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that in all the mantras, I am Om. All the symbols, because Om itself is a symbol. In all the symbols, I am Om. In the sound, I am Om. Now, the reason Om is pronounced at the front of many mantras, Vedic mantras, being it says, if we have any truti, if we cannot pronounce any Sanskrit words, if while pronouncing it correctly, our mind is somewhere else, then using this word Om purifies those mistakes. The reason when we start Mangalacharan and we say, oh, we stretch it. So that's the way it's as per the Shastras. When we stretch Om the way it is, so 2/3 O, which is the first in English, first alphabet O, and the 1/3 at the end should be Ma. So Om. So if O will go for 2/3 of the sound, then will go for 1/3 of the sound, which is sometimes hard to figure out. But again, we could clarify. Hare Krishna. Mataji, please.
Yes, Prabhuji. Some say Om should be A-U-M. So Om, that's what some say.
Yes. If you see Mataji, what's written here, it's O-M, and on the top we got a dot. So this is like in English with the Sanskrit, what we call, so there are many different names, but like in the grammatically, Sanskrit, if we use in English, then we use these words, these symbols. Now, if we don't use them in, for example, in Om, then we have to write A-U-M. So that's proper English. But this English, what we see at the moment, that's in Sanskrit. So English with Sanskrit grammar added to it. So if we see, for example, Krishna. So this is Krishna, but this is in English, but with Sanskrit grammar added to it, with the halant, with the dots. But if we will write in English, in pure English, then the spelling of Krishna will go K-R-I-S-H-N-A, Krishna. So sometimes in English, we just, so you might have noticed me as well, when I write dear devotees, Hare Krishna. So rather than writing English Krishna, I just use these spellings, even though those Sanskrits are missing. But this is as close we can get it. But very, very good question, Mataji. This is the difference between two different styles of writing. Very nice. Hare Krishna. And so the way we say Om is this. The reason we say Om is to bring back, if our mind is somewhere else before we started the session, if we were doing something else, we are going to start the session, we need to bring the focus here. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, the 9 different steps being given, and the very first one is hearing. Everything starts from hearing. So even if so a lot of devotees, they come into touch and we say, even if you won't take part, just come, just join and listen, relax, just listen, just hear. If the Vedic mantras, Vedic words, they go from the hearing, the next level could start. But hearing is the very first thing to be. So while if our mind was somewhere else, by the time we are stretching, we are reminding ourselves, we are bringing our attention to the topic which we are going to discuss. So this really, really helps. And this technique has been there in our Shastras for a long, long, long time. a lot of we do in Bhagavad Gita chapter 6, lot of what we call Ashtanga yogis, they practice just on Om. So they keep practicing Om, which is great way of doing it. But of course, we need to, so just reciting Om will bring back your focus. And if you have that focus, then you can do something. But we do need to do something else after that. What is that is what's given in the Shastras. So Hare Krishna. Hare Bol. So सभी भक्तों का स्वागत है. हम श्री ईशोपनिषद मंत्रा 3 आज डिस्कस करेंगे. हमने पहले बैकग्राउंड, इंट्रोडक्शन, इन्वोकेशन मंत्र ओम पूर्णमद पूर्णमिदम वो डिस्कस किया. मंत्रा 1 ईशावास्यम हमने डिस्कस किया. उसके बाद लास्ट वीक हमने मंत्रा 2, आज हम मंत्रा 3 की तरफ चलेंगे. Mantra 1, 2, 3, out of 18 mantras, these 3 mantras, they group together. तो अक्सर हम ये कहते हैं कि अगर भगवत गीता के अंदर 700 वर्सेस हैं, श्रीमद् भागवतम के अंदर 18,000 वर्सेस हैं और ईशोपनिषद में मात्र 18 वर्सेस हैं. ये वर्सेस याद करने बहुत इजी हो जाते हैं अगर हम कॉन्टेक्स्ट में ग्रुपिंग करके, थीम करके याद रखते हैं. जैसे श्रीमद् भगवत गीता में हम कहते हैं कि जो शुरू के 6 हैं वो कर्म योग हैं, बीच के जो 6 चैप्टर्स हैं, चैप्टर 7 to 12 वो भक्ति योगा के हैं, लास्ट के जो हैं वो ज्ञान योगा के हैं. फिर उसके बाद हम हर सेक्शन के अंदर जा सकते हैं. तो इस तरीके से अगर हम याद रखें तो हमारे लिए पूरी की पूरी भगवत गीता, भागवतम, श्री ईशोपनिषद याद रख पाना बहुत ईजी है. और याद क्यों रखना चाहते हैं हम? क्योंकि वो ज्ञान हम अपने जीवन में उतारना चाहते हैं और जीवन में उतारने के लिए हमको याद रखना जरूरी है. Of course, the usual ways, the more we discuss, the more we hear, the more we will able to remember, and hopefully better it will be while implementing in our day-to-day life. And that's the whole purpose of doing it. But of course, the very first thing is to hear, to discuss. So mantra 1, we said Īśopaniṣad, everything belongs to Krishna, everything belongs to Ishwar, right? So everything belongs to Ishwar. We all have our own quota, right? So we should do endeavor, or we should not do over endeavor to get anything. तो ईशावास्य कंसेप्ट जो श्रीला प्रभुपाद जी मंत्रा 1 से शुरू करते हैं. तो मंत्रा 1 श्री ईशोपनिषद के अंदर बताता है कि ईशावास्यम कंसेप्ट कि सब कुछ ईश्वर को बिलोंग करता है, चाहे स्पिरिचुअल वर्ल्ड हो, चाहे मटेरियल वर्ल्ड हो, चाहे आध्यात्मिक हो, चाहे भौतिक हो. और हर जीवात्मा जो हम हैं, हर जीवात्मा को, हर इंसान को, हर जानवर, पशु को अपना एक कोटा मिला है, लिमिटेड, और हमको उस कोटे के अंदर ही काम करना चाहिए. अगर हम उस कोटे में कंटेंट हैं, सेटिस्फाइड हैं, तो हमको कोई जेलसी, कोई एनवीनेस नहीं होनी चाहिए. लेकिन इसका ये मतलब नहीं है कि हम अपने कोटे के लिए मेहनत ना करें. हमें अपने कोटे के लिए मेहनत करनी पड़ेगी, लेकिन हमको इतनी मेहनत नहीं करनी चाहिए किसी भी चीज को हासिल करने के लिए कि भौतिक जो भी चीज हम सक्सेस चाहते हैं वो भौतिक सक्सेस के लिए हमारे आध्यात्मिक जीवन डिस्टर्ब हो. तो यहाँ पे ये बैलेंस बनाना बहुत जरूरी है. We do need to do material endeavor, but our spiritual pursuit should not get affected. So that balance is what we are looking for, being the devotees. Then verse 2 explains so nicely the attachment to Krishna. It's not only that, how we will be able to remember that? Only when we can attach to Krishna, attach to Ishwar. Īśopaniṣad, we will only be able to live by that principle when we will understand Ishwar, and then we will able to connect to Ishwar. हम ईशावास्य कंसेप्ट के साथ तभी अच्छे से हार्मनी में जी सकते हैं जब हम ईश्वर को समझ पाए. और ईश्वर को समझ पाने के बाद हमने देखा कि हम आज भी कुछ एग्जांपल्स देखेंगे कि जब हम ईश्वर से कनेक्ट हो पाते हैं, क्योंकि जैसे भगवान 15 चैप्टर में कहते हैं कि माम वांशो जीव माम वांशो अंश. We, each and every living being is part and parcel of Ishwar, part and parcel of Krishna. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that, and in Shri Īśopaniṣad, Ishwar saying that to Manu. So we can understand. This is how we. So now sometimes somebody will say, well, it says Ishwar. It doesn't say Krishna. So how do you say that Ishwar is Krishna? It could be somebody else as well. But when we take the wider perspective, when we read other Shastras, then we understand who else is saying the similar things. Krishna is the only one who has said those things. There is no one else. The Lord Brahma has said it, Lord Shiva has said it for Krishna, not for themselves. Lord Krishna said it many, Lord Shiva said it many places to his devotees, to Prachetas are Dakshas. So that's a different pastime given in Bhagavatam. And of course, Lord Shiva has said to his own wife about Krishna. Lord Brahma, of course, has written the whole Brahm Samhita. Indra, the team leader, if we say the leader of demigods, he has said it a number of times for Krishna. So especially in Govardhan Leela. So if we put everything in together, we can understand who is Ishwar. Not only that Krishna is saying, I'm the one, but many others are saying. So that's why when it says Ishwar, we say Krishna is saying it. Not because Shri Īśopaniṣad says that Ishwar is Krishna. Shri Īśopaniṣad says everything about Ishwar. But if we take all other contexts into practice, then we can understand Krishna is the one who is Ishwar. Now, so the invocation, Om Purnamada Purnamidam. Krishna is Purn, Ishwar is Purn. We are part and parcel of Ishwar. We are also Purn. Spiritually, we are Purn. We are complete. Then verse 1, Īśavāsyam. Everything belongs to Krishna because we are part and parcel based on our own capacity. We got limited quota. Verse 2, that we need to be, we cannot, because we are part and parcel of Krishna, we cannot be detached from Krishna. We need to be connected to Krishna. Now, and the benefits of being always connected to Krishna. Now, the third one, which we are doing today, if in case we will not keep ourselves attached to Krishna, what will happen? Now, we don't really need to go into a lot of discussion. We can see what's happening in the world these days. The reason is people are not connected to the Lord. People are not connected to Ishwar. People are not connected to Krishna. It says Krishna consciousness. We do need to be. Now, sometimes people use the word they call Christ consciousness, right? And of course, we can talk about that as well, which should not be very different than Ishwar, what it says in Shri Īśopaniṣad, or what Bhagavad Gita says. It got to be the very similar thing, which comes back to the same fundamental concept of humility, humbleness, compassion, which almost all the religions talk about. But verse 3 explains very logically, if we will not live in the harmony of Īśavāsyam or attachment to Krishna in verse 2, what will happen then in verse 3 is explained, which is a kind of punishment. Now we can say it's a punishment, but this is the rule of the land. As we discussed last time, that if you are in Dubai, there are different rules. If you are in London, there are different rules. If you are in India, there are different rules. Now, nobody can say, well, no, I would like to drive 140 miles per hour, which we can do in Dubai, but we can't do it here in London. And if you will break it, there is a punishment. We cannot say this is wrong, you have given me the punishment. No, because the rules are broken. So there are rules here on material earth. If we don't follow, the punishments got to be there. So we are abided by that. So let's get into details, but feel free, any question, any comment, any message, anytime, feel free to raise it. So very briefly, जो अब तक हमने देखा, ये हमारे चैतन्य चरण प्रभु जी की स्लाइड है, जो इसके अंदर उन्होंने एक स्लाइड के अंदर ये 4 वर्सेस को इकट्ठा किया है. What is the principle? Principle is Om Purna. Invocation is Om Purnamada Purnamida. Purn is complete. Ishwar is complete. We are complete. What is the principle? Principle is Īśavāsyam. Everything belongs to Krishna. Everything belongs to Ishwar. So everything is perfect and everything belongs to Krishna. How living in harmony with benefits. So if we are spiritual, if we are attached to Krishna, we will see the benefits. We can see that now. हम अभी देख सकते हैं कि किस तरीके से कोरोना हर जगह आया, लेकिन फिर भी भक्त जो हैं, डिवोटीज जो हैं लॉर्ड के, अगर फिजिकली वो अफेक्टेड हुए भी, तो मेंटली और स्पिरिचुअली वो अफेक्टेड नहीं हुए. ये डायरेक्ट बेनिफिट हम यहीं के यहीं मटेरियल वर्ल्ड में ही देख सकते हैं, जिसके लिए हमको बहुत ज़्यादा सोचने की ज़रूरत नहीं, बहुत ज़्यादा डिस्कशन की ज़रूरत नहीं, ये बहुत ही स्पष्ट है। और जैसे अमोघ लीला प्रभु जी ने बहुत अच्छे से बताया कि चैतन्य चरण प्रभु जी अच्छे से समझाते हैं एक वर्ड ऑक्सोमोरॉन, कि दो चीजें जो इकट्ठे साथ में नहीं हो सकती, जैसे कि रिच किंग, अगर किंग है तो वो पुअर किंग, अगर किंग है तो वो रिच ही होगा, वो पुअर नहीं हो सकता। तो पुअर किंग अगर हम वर्ड यूज करते हैं तो ये ऑक्सीमोरॉन है। इसी तरीके से अगर हम कहते हैं कि वो भक्त दुखी है, सो अनहैप्पी डिवोटी, तो ये ऑक्सीमोरॉन है। तो अगर वो दुखी है तो वो भक्त नहीं हो सकता, और अगर वो भक्त है तो वो दुखी नहीं हो सकता। भक्त को कहते हैं कि सिर्फ एक ही दुख है कि वो परो दुखो धर्म, कि दूसरे भक्त को कोई दुख है, उसका दुख जरूर हो सकता है, लेकिन अपना कोई दुख नहीं हो सकता, क्योंकि भक्त, और हम प्योर डिवोटी की बात कर रहे हैं। ऐसा नहीं कि अगर मैंने टीका लगाया हुआ है, कुर्ता पहना हुआ है तो मैं भक्त हो गया। ये हम रादर देन फिजिकल अटायर, हम कॉन्शियसनेस की बात कर रहे हैं, जो उस तत्व के अंदर अपने जीवन को जीते हैं, और जो बहुत हैं। और बिल्कुल ऐसा ना समझें कि ऐसा कहने की कोशिश हो रही है कि इस्कॉन में, गौड़िया मठ में, नहीं, ये कहीं पे भी हो सकते हैं, किसी भी नेशनैलिटी के भक्त हो सकते हैं, और किसी भी रिलीजन के भक्त हो सकते हैं। ऐसे क्रिश्चियंस भी हो सकते हैं, ऐसे मुस्लिम्स भी हो सकते हैं, ऐसे जैनिज्म में हो सकते हैं, ऐसे बुद्धिस्ट हो सकते हैं। आइडिया सिर्फ ये है कि कॉन्शियसनेस ईश्वर की होनी चाहिए। तो कृष्णा कॉन्शियसनेस, ईश्वर कॉन्शियसनेस, कॉन्शियसनेस हमारी ऐसी होनी चाहिए। तो हम अगर अपने वेदों को, पुराणों को, उपनिषदों को पढ़ें तो हमारी कॉन्शियसनेस इंप्रूव होनी चाहिए। However, of course, if our attire changes, that does help in our consciousness. When we see something, why do we see things? Because when we see things, we think about those things. So that's why the attire helps. If we will see someone in mini skirt, for example, what we will think? If we see someone in kurta pajama, what we will think? And where we are going, we might think a person might be going to the temple, or person got a tilak, person might be coming from the temple. And it has happened a number of times. So I'm in a practice, especially working from home now, blessings in disguise. So the very first thing in the morning, I put the tilak. And a lot of time it happens, I connect in the office. And when, if in case we open the camera, then everybody sees the tilak. And a number of times we had discussions, why you got it, what's the reason. A lot of time my background is very spiritual. I got the deities behind. So we, based on that, because of that physical thing at the front, the discussion, the consciousness changed. तो इसी वजह से हम सोच सकते हैं कि कॉन्शियसनेस इंप्रूव करनी चाहिए, लेकिन जिस तरीके की भी हमारे आसपास चीजें हैं वो हेल्प करती हैं हमारी कॉन्शियसनेस चेंज करने में, और हम वर्स 2 के हिसाब से कृष्णा से अटैच हो पाते हैं। हम अगर उसी तरीके की बातें करते हैं, उसी तरीके के, क्योंकि आइडिया हमारा अपने सेंसेस को यूज करने का है। इंद्रिय रूपी जो घोड़े हैं, उनको हम किस डायरेक्शन में भगा रहे हैं, उसकी कोशिश है हमारी। द थर्ड वर्स नाउ, which is, if we live in disharmony, then what happens? It harms us. How? Consequences of not acting in Īśopaniṣad concept is the concept is described in 1 and 2. Now in third verse, this is what we'll see. A bit of revision which we have already seen. So these are just some questions, and hopefully we already have the answers for them, considering what we have already seen, already discussed. तो अब तक हम जो कर चुके हैं उसी के बेस के ऊपर कुछ क्वेश्चन जो हमको उनके आंसर्स होपफुली हमारे पास होने चाहिए. What is the complete principle? Invocation, Purnamada. What is the Īśopaniṣad? Verse 1. List examples. So there are many examples we have been discussing and we will discuss today as well. One of the greatest examples, somebody said that, why do we consider cow as holy? Now, in this respect, cow gives milk and cow doesn't keep milk for herself. Cow obviously gives milk for the infant, for the calf, but doesn't keep rest for himself or herself. तो काव के लिए अगर हम सोचें कि जो गाय के लिए हम कहते हैं, हम गो माता कहते हैं, तो काफी लोग ये पूछते हैं क्यों. तो ईशावास्य प्रिंसिपल हमको बहुत अच्छे से सीखने को मिलता है, क्योंकि गाय जो भी मिल्क देती है वो अपने लिए नहीं रखती है, वो अपने बछड़े के लिए रखती है, और फिर उसके बाद बाकी मनुष्य जाति हमेशा दूसरों की सेवा के लिए करती है. ये हमारा जो जीवात्मा है, हमारा जो ट्रू नेचर है स्पिरिचुअल, वो यही है, वो सेवा का ही भाव है। इसलिए आप देखें हर जगह वॉलंटियर की बात होती है। बहुत सारे प्रिजनर्स ऐसे हैं जिनको वॉलंटियर करने को कहते हैं। बहुत सारी मेंटल स्टेबिलिटीज ऐसी हैं जिसके लिए साइकेट्रिस्ट कहते हैं कि आप वॉलंटरी वर्क करें, सेवा करें। और हम बच्चों के लिए देखते हैं ड्यूक ऑफ एडिनबरा का अवार्ड है जिसके अंदर ये सजेस्ट किया जाता है कि वॉलंटियर वर्क जरूर होना चाहिए। क्यों? क्योंकि वॉलंटियर वर्क के बहुत सारे फायदे हैं। लेकिन हम ये कहते हैं, हमारे शास्त्र कहते हैं कि जो ट्रू नेचर है वो सेवा का ही है। तो या तो हम गो स्वामी बन सकते हैं अपनी इंद्रियों को कंट्रोल करके, अपनी इंद्रियों को एंगेज करके, अदरवाइज हम गो दास बन जाएंगे। हमारी इंद्रियां हमको जहां ले जाएंगी, हम अपनी इंद्रिय तृप्तियों में ही लगे रहेंगे, जो यूजुअली वीकेंड पे होता है। अगर हम देखें, अगर कोई भी समय निकाल के ये सोचे कि हम वीकेंड्स पे क्या करते हैं, तो अक्सर हम वही काम करते हैं जिसके अंदर हमारी इंद्रियां लिप्त रहती हैं और हम इंजॉय करने की कोशिश करते हैं। लेकिन किसी भी वक्त अगर हम कभी भी कोई सेवा कर पाते हैं तो वो हमको हमेशा ज्यादा अच्छा लगता है। लेकिन सेवा के लिए हमको अपने आप को पुश करना पड़ता है। कंक्लूजन अच्छा लगेगा लेकिन हमको पुश करते रहना पड़ेगा। ये मंत्रा 3 के अंदर जो हम आगे बात करेंगे। So there are more things related to it, but like one of the example, the cow example and the milk example. So the human life and animal life, now we always say if we only do 4 things, eating, sleeping, mating, defending. If we only do these things, then we are as good as animals. अगर हम सिर्फ ये 4 चीजें ही करते हैं तो इसका मतलब ये हमारे शास्त्रों के अंदर है कि ऐसा मनुष्य जो सिर्फ ये 4 चीजें करता है तो वो जानवर से ज्यादा अच्छा नहीं है। जो मनुष्य जीवन मिला है उसकी जो सक्सेस है, उसका जो पर्पस है, वो पूरी तरीके से खो जाता है अगर मनुष्य सिर्फ ये 4 चीजें करके मर जाता है। इस 4 की जगह 5वीं चीज नहीं करता। 5वीं चीज क्या है? 5वीं चीज है जिज्ञासा, ब्रह्म जिज्ञासा, अहम ब्रह्मास्मि, तत्व जिज्ञासा, रस जिज्ञासा। इसके अंदर और बहुत डिटेल्स है, पर जिज्ञासा द इंक्वायरी, ये जो इंक्वायरी है ये स्पिरिचुअल क्वेस्ट है। ये जो इंक्वायरी है ये सिर्फ मनुष्य कर सकता है, ये जानवर नहीं कर सकते। जानवर ईटिंग, खाएंगे, मेटिंग, बच्चे, जनसंख्या बढ़ाएंगे, डिफेंडिंग, अगर कोई कहीं से कहीं खतरा होगा तो अपने आप को और अपने बचाने की कोशिश करेंगे। ईटिंग, मेटिंग, डिफेंडिंग, स्लीपिंग, और रेस्ट करने के लिए सोएंगे। अगर यही 4 चीजें हम करते हैं तो हम भी वही, चाहे फर्क इतना होता है कि हम ऑफिस जाएंगे, पैसा कमाएंगे और ये 4 चीजें अच्छे लेवल पे करेंगे। हो सकता है कि जो एनिमल्स हैं वो बाहर ओपन में सोते हैं, ओपन में खाते हैं, ओपन में मेट करते हैं, ओपन में डिफेंड करते हैं, लड़ाई झगड़ा करते हैं। हम ये सारी चीजें थोड़ी सी हो सकता है सोफिस्टिकेटेड वे में करते हो, घर के अंदर बैठ के अच्छे से अच्छी चीजें खाते हो। और अगर हमको फाइट करनी है तो हो सकता है हम लॉ सूट कोर्ट में जाके लड़ाई करते हो। लेकिन अगर हम ये सिर्फ यही 4 चीजें कर रहे हैं तो हम मनुष्य जीवन का ज्यादा अर्थ समझ नहीं पाएंगे और हमारा पर्पस डेफिनेटली खो जाएगा। और बहुत सारे जो इसके अंदर एग्जांपल्स दे रखे हैं। So what is the root of the sin? Now this is where we getting into mantra 3. This is a devotee and Krishna has come up. This is in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Moksha, गजेंद्र मोक्ष। जब गजेंद्र जो हाथी हैं उनके लिए भगवान विष्णु आते हैं हाथी को बचाने के लिए। जब हाथी पूरी अपनी कोशिश करता है बचाने की तब तक नहीं आते हैं। जब हाथी ये कह देता है कि भगवान अब मैं ये समझ चुका हूं कि मैं अपनी हिम्मत से तो अपने आप को नहीं बचा सकता और अब जो भी है मैं आपको समर्पित करता हूं, बिल्कुल उसी तरीके से जिस तरीके से द्रौपदी ने जब तक अपने आप को खुद दुर्योधन से, दुशासन से बचाने की कोशिश करी, भगवान नहीं प्रकट हुए। जब द्रौपदी ने पूर्ण रूप से भगवान को समर्पण कर दिया कि भगवान अब आप ही बचा सकते हैं, तब भगवान आए। और उसी तरीके से भगवान यहाँ पर गजेंद्र के लिए भी आए और उसी तरीके से टोटल सरेंडर when we give total surrender to Krishna, then not that we are hiding anything, not that we have hidden agenda, then Krishna comes along. But what is the root cause of the sin? The root of sin is deliberate disobedience. So this is deliberate. Now, everyone makes mistakes. If he makes mistakes, no problem, right? Because we are materially, we are incomplete and we will make mistakes. But do we make mistakes intentionally, deliberately? That's where the difference is. What are our intentions? A lot of time people make mistakes and they say sorry, they feel sorry because something has wrong. Maybe the accident happened, maybe something fell from hand, right? But as long as the intentions were not to hurt, then, and we have seen the examples of doctors. If doctors do the operation, but while doing the operations, if the operation is unsuccessful, the life is lost, nothing going to happen to doctor because doctor's intentions were to save. But at the same time, if a dacoit, a thief will come and something happens to the person, the thief is responsible because the intentions were wrong. तो हम समझ सकते हैं कि जो पाप जिसे हम कहते हैं sin, उसका जो रूट कॉज है वो ये है कि हम जानबूझ के गलती करते हैं. ऐसा नहीं है कि हमें पता नहीं है. हर सिगरेट की डिब्बी पे लिखा होता है कि वो सिगरेट हमारी सेहत के लिए कितनी हानिकारक है. हम जानबूझ के जब वो ले रहे होते हैं तब हमको मालूम है कि नुकसान बहुत बहुत ज्यादा गहरा हो. So we have seen, and in Bhagavad Gita chapter 3 it explains even more, karma, vikarma, akarma. So vikarma is the negative, when we do something wrong, could be stealing, and could be even worse when we do something which is against the shastras. Karma, when we do good things but we expect good results back. We do a lot of havans and we do a lot of prayers. We do prayers to Brahma, to Lord Shiva, a lot of demons. Ravan did a lot of penance. Hiranyakashipu did a lot of penance. So that was worship, and that's the reason Lord Brahma gave the boons. But the intentions were wrong. And obviously the prayers, the whole austerities, they were done to expect something back. So that was karma, right? After, based on that karma, once they got the boon, they started doing vikarma. But akarma is what devotees aim for, which is when we do things but we don't expect anything in return. We do things because it's supposed to be a duty, like mothers do. Like when we do the volunteer works, we don't expect anything in back. We do it because this is our responsibility to do, right? So vikarma, negative, karma, when we do good things and expect good things back. Akarma, when we do the good things but we don't expect anything in back. And this is how we understand different types of karmas. And like in this screenshot of it says, just surrender on to me, I will deliver on to you. Hare Krishna. Mataji, please.
Yes, Prabhuji, there's one question in my mind, that it says that when we, people generally believe that when we do good karma, then good things come back to us. But in life, that doesn't always do like that. People do good karma, but still, not everybody gets the good results out of it. Maybe get good results in the future, but not at the moment. And anyway, when we do any karma, we're not expected to look for the results anyway. But this is what people generally believe.
Yes. So Mataji, you mentioned two things. One is that you're right. In general, people do. And those, now it depends where we are. So let's say those who don't know driving at all, we will say, just do driving nearby, wherever you are, park the car, or just sit in the car, feel comfortable, read about the car, do driving test, bit of theory. For somebody who has passed the theory, you will say, now you have to take it to the next level. Take your car out, go nearby. And if you have started taking nearby, you can do long journeys now, go on the motorways. So similarly, if somebody is currently doing vikarma, bad things, lies, drugs, or there could be many more bad things, then we say, at least do good karma, because good things will come back to you. If you do bad things, bad thing will come back to you. So depends where the person is. So that's why in generally, to encourage the mass public, we always say, do good karma because good things will happen to us. However, that's true all the time. Whether we're able to see it or not, or different. Whether we're able to observe it or not, whether we believe it or not. Now, there are many different examples of this. For example, let's say a friend of ours called us to watch a movie, and we were a bit late. Let's say we missed half of the movie and we reached in the last half of the movie, and we reached there and we saw the hero is because usually in the movies what happened, the whole movie, or at least the first part, the villain is disturbing everyone, disturbing the hero and all other actors. But at the end, all the actors, or at least the hero, is overpowered and is overpowering the villain. Now, who is the bad guy? But when the other friend will come who has missed the first part, that person will say, well, why bad things happening to this guy? Because this person hasn't seen that the earlier movie, the first half, this person, the bad guy, has been doing bad things. So he doesn't know. For him, maybe the hero is a bad guy because he's doing bad things. For example, if somebody will see that Arjun has killed and this has happened, people just, they don't know the background and they just see, oh, well, Arjun has killed so many people. Arjun has killed all, like Bhima has killed all the 100 cousin brothers. So this is so bad of Pandavas. But of course, they haven't seen what happened before. They don't know the background, what the reason is, why they have done all that. So we don't see, we think, so there is a whole series which says that why good things happen, why bad things happen to good people, or why good things happen to the bad people, or why bad things happen to good people. And the reason is that maybe we don't know the past. Of course, we don't know the future, but a lot of time we don't know the past. So somebody we know for last 20 years, and we know the person is very nice, person is very pious, right? But still something wrong happened to the person. But we don't know in the past, the person might have done something wrong. For example, maybe, let's say if in my childhood, and yesterday I was chatting with Kana, who is there in the call today, and to my nephew as well, that when I was a child, I used to eat a lot of sugar. But when I got a bit of knowledge that sugar is not good for health, I stopped. And now I don't eat sugar. Well, we don't get sugar in our house. We get jaggery, gur, and many other things. And of course, we have controlled other things as well. But that sugar, which I have eaten, let's say for 13 years or 14 years of my life, that sugar would have done some damage for sure. And that could, sometimes it doesn't come out in 2 years, 3 years, it might come out 10 years later. For example, somebody else said to me that, oh, I know somebody who has been smoking for 30 odd years. This has actually happened. And so it's like 10 years back, somebody said to me that, oh, I know people. So I think his uncle used to, Chacha, used to smoke for 30 years. And then said, well, nothing happened. The guy is good. And I thought, okay, well, I've heard it's bad, but if you know someone, maybe something somehow. 2 years ago, he got lung cancer, and pretty bad. So we don't really know, and that's the reason so somebody who appears to be good might have done some bad in the past, and the results, they don't come instantaneously, they can come later. And it happens to us as well. Like we overspeed somewhere and we don't get the challan or the fine straight away. Sometimes it takes 6 months. I was in Middle East. In Middle East, it happens once in a, well, might have changed now, but it used to happen once in the year. When you will go to renew your registration, they will produce you the list of all the speeding tickets. So they don't send you as and when it happens. Once in a year, when you will go to renew, they say you have to pay so much once in a year. So it happens. It's not straight away. So first thing is, wherever we are, so if somebody is doing vikarma, we suggest do karma. If somebody is there doing karma, then we say, okay, now you need to get into a karma or nishkam karma yoga. And if people doing good things and good things are not happening, the good results are not coming, maybe they are still, and we will do one session on that, because karmas, the way that we get the results, there could be 4 different ways we get the results. And we briefly discussed when we cook the chapatis. So if the grain is bad, what happens? So chapati is cooked, chapati is not cooked, but the dough is ready, and the dough is not ready, but the raw material is ready for the dough, and that's not ready, but we have bought the grains. And even if we have not bought the grains, where we always buy the grains or the crop where the farmers get it, if that's wrong. So out of all these, there are different stages where we are. So where our results of our karma are. And the top one is called prarabdha. That's like manifested. We got to have it. We cannot avoid it. If cancer happened to someone, you cannot avoid. So doctors always say, well, it's like in stage 1. If you improve your diet, if you improve your lifestyle, if you do this, or don't do this, then you will improve. And in some cases, doctors say, sorry, it's last stage, it's terminal. We can't do anything, it's too late. So it depends when or which state our karma gets manifested. So of course, it's a tricky, because sometimes we don't see. But trust the Vedic injunctions that no one, and Lord Buddha said it a number of times, that there is it's in Pali, I don't remember. Pali is a different language in Pali is the original text of Buddha, and in English it says, it's a very poetic, but it said, one and all, no one does but skip the cycle of vicious cycle of sin and bad karma. So if we have done bad karma, if we have done sin, like a circle, it will come back, it will chase us. We cannot skip it. And it will affect one and all. No one could be. No one. Doesn't really matter what we wear, doesn't really matter what we speak. What matters is what we have done. No one will ever. The only thing we can do, sometimes we can postpone it. That's the only thing which can happen. We can postpone it. However, devotees don't do it. Devotees ask for the strength. So devotees says, let me face the results of my bad karma, but give me the strength, O Lord, so I can. So it's because when the bad karmas, the results come back, maybe somebody got the COVID, somebody lost the job, somebody lost a family member. People get disheartened. People leave. And again, it has happened in the family. Somebody who was the head was lost. So rest of the family didn't do prayers, just lost complete faith for many years, many years. But luckily enough, came back. But it can happen. So the only thing devotees say, that when the bad times come, please let me be surrendered to you. Give me the strength so I can face this. So thank you so much, Mataji, for such a nice question on karma.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji.
Right. So mantra 3 is this, and in this mantra there are 2 main words. So Surya. So for example, when we have a dash on A, we pronounce it bit high pitch and for long. So this is Asurya. So this is Nama. Asurya Nama Te Loka. So Asurya. So who is Asurya? So we see Sur and Asur, and we know the demons and the demigods. So the demigods are Sur, and so when we say demigods, they are the Devi Devta. जब हम देवी देवताओं की बात करते हैं, या सनातन धर्म हमारा 33 करोड़ देवी देवताओं की बात करता है, लेकिन भगवान सिर्फ एक ही है। और भगवान कौन है? भगवत गीता भागवतम के अंदर बहुत अच्छे से एक वर्स आता है, एते चंशा कृष्णस्तु भगवान स्वयं। कृष्ण ही भगवान है खुद। इससे ज्यादा क्लियर हम कहाँ देख सकते हैं? जितने शास्त्र मैंने पढ़े हैं उसके अंदर से किसी भी देवी देवता के बारे में, ना ही किसी देवी देवता ने खुद अपने बारे में ऐसा कहा है, ना किसी ने किसी और देवी देवता के बारे में ऐसा कहा है। कृष्ण के बारे में बहुत जगह ये क्लियर है कि कृष्ण ही भगवान है। भगवत गीता में कृष्ण खुद कहते हैं, जो अभी हम लास्ट इस पिक्चर में अगर हम देखें, just surrender on to me, I will deliver you. It says, Krishna is saying that, Bhagavad Gita 1866. So Bhagavad Gita 1866, so chapter 18 verse 66 is Sarvadharman parityaja mam ekam sharanam vraja. Mam ekam, only mine. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo. So Sarvadharman parityaja mam ekam sharanam vraja. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshishami ma sucha. 1865. Like, leave everything, just surrender on to me. Just surrender on to me. I will deliver you. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo. I will take care of all your sins. Mokshishami ma sucha. Mokshishami ma sucha, in very simple terms, do not fear. Just surrender on to me. So it's very clear. So Asur and Sur, demigods and demons, but Bhagwan is Krishna, so that's separate. And then the other word which comes in there is the killer of the soul. Now this is very interesting. Killer of the soul. So Bhagavad Gita chapter 2, very first thing Krishna tells Arjun is about what we call Atma Jnana, the knowledge of soul. भगवद गीता के अंदर भगवान कृष्ण चैप्टर 2 वर्स 7, कार्पण्य दोषोपतः स्वभाव, अर्जुन सरेंडर करते हैं भगवान को, और फिर भगवान ज्ञान देना शुरू करते हैं अर्जुन को। जो सबसे पहला ज्ञान देते हैं वो आत्मा का ज्ञान देते हैं, और जो सबसे पहली चीज यही कहते हैं कि आत्मा कभी मर नहीं सकती, आत्मा कभी मर नहीं सकती। लेकिन इस वर्ष में मंत्रा 3 में लिखा है किलर ऑफ द सोल, जो आत्मा को मार देता है। तो ऐसे लगेगा एपरेंटली ये कॉन्ट्रडिक्टिंग है, और ये कॉन्ट्रडिक्शंस हमारे शास्त्रों में बहुत दिखती हैं, है नहीं, दिखती हैं। A lot of times, a lot of places in our shastras, these kind of contradictions are apparent. They appear to be, there are no contradictions, but they appear to be only because our vision is a bit restricted, because we cannot see. An example, somebody who hasn't seen the elephant, I might have discussed this before. If somebody hasn't seen the elephant, and the person is blind, person will touch one side of the elephant and will just consider elephant as, maybe if the person will touch the tusk or the teeth or the tail or the side, the person will perceive elephant differently, and the other person will say, or the other description. So the two people will describe elephant differently. They both are right, but they both have incomplete. Only the person who has seen the full picture of the elephant can understand both of them were right. There is no contradiction at all. तो जिस तरीके से अगर दो जन्म से अंधे लोगों को हम हाथी के पास ले जाएं, वो हाथी के जिस भी बॉडी पार्ट पे टच करके देखेंगे, अगर किसी ने पूंछ पकड़ी है, किसी ने पेट को हाथ लगाया है, किसी ने सूंड पकड़ी है, किसी ने दांत पकड़ा है, तो वो अपने हिसाब से हाथी को डिफाइन करेंगे, क्योंकि उन्होंने कभी हाथी को देखा ही नहीं है। लेकिन अगर कोई दो लोगों को दो डिफरेंट डेफिनेशंस, एक्सप्लेनेशन, डिस्क्रिप्शन एलिफेंट का देखेंगे, पढ़ेंगे, तो उनको लगेगा ये तो हो ही नहीं सकता, एक ने ये कहा है, एक ने ये कहा है। पर जिसने पूरे हाथी को देखा है, पूरे हाथी के बारे में मालूम है, वो समझ पाएगा कि कोई कॉन्ट्रडिक्शन नहीं है, सिर्फ डेफिनेशन लिमिटेड है, आउट ऑफ कॉन्टेक्स्ट है और विद इन द कॉन्टेक्स्ट है फॉर दैट पर्सन। तो इसी तरीके से भगवत गीता के अंदर भगवान आत्म ज्ञान देते हैं अर्जुन को सबसे पहले, और कहते हैं कि किसी भी तरीके से आत्मा को मारा नहीं जा सकता, आत्मा कभी मरती नहीं है। हे अर्जुन, किसके लिए रो रहे हो? किसको मारोगे और कौन मरेगा यहाँ पे? बट मंत्रा 3 श्री ईशोपनिषद के अंदर लिखा है किलर ऑफ द सोल। अब यहाँ पे ऐसा लगेगा कि कॉन्ट्रडिक्शन है, लेकिन कॉन्ट्रडिक्शन नहीं है। क्यों? क्योंकि यहाँ पे आत्मा को मारने का जो मतलब है वो ऐसे समझाया गया है, और ये हमको और समझ में आएगा जब हम आगे देखेंगे कि जो आत्मा जिस चीज के लिए स्टैंड करती है उस क्वालिटी को मार दिया गया है, उस स्पिरिचुअल क्वालिटी को मार दिया गया है। हम इसको इस तरीके से समझ सकते हैं। द किलर ऑफ द सोल, whoever he may be, whoever it may be, irrespective of what we wear, what we think, what we say, what matters is what we do. Whoever he may be must enter into the planets known as the worlds of the faithless, full of the darkness and ignorance. This is the description of hell. Faithless, full of darkness, ignorance. And we have many countries like this on the planet these days. तो यहां लिखा है कि वो इंसान आत्मा को मारने वाला माना जाएगा, जो कि और फिर वो ऐसी जगह पर जाएगा जहां पे ना किसी के अंदर कोई श्रद्धा है, पूरी तरीके से वहां पे अंधकार फैला हुआ है, और वो लोगों को कुछ पता ही नहीं, वो इतने इग्नोरेंट है, उन्हें कुछ पता ही नहीं है कि उनके साथ में क्या हो रहा है। ये डेफिनेशन अगर हम देखें श्रीमद् भागवतम कैंटो 5 चैप्टर 28 के अंदर, और हमने चैप्टर 25 से 28 के बीच में 28 हेल के बारे में जो डिस्क्राइब है, जो हमने गोलोका चार्ट के डेफिनेशन, पूरा गोलोका चार्ट फिनिश करने के बाद में हमने आखिरी में देखे थे अंधकूप, रौरव, महारौरव, ऐसे जो हमने भयंकर हेल के बारे में, नरकों के बारे में डिस्क्रिप्शन पढ़ा था, वो डिस्क्रिप्शन यहाँ पे मैच होता है जब ऐसा कहा जा रहा है जो आत्मा को मारने वाला है। तो जो ईशावास्यम प्रिंसिपल में नहीं जीता, जो अपने कोटे से बाहर निकल के दूसरे के कोटे को हासिल करने की कोशिश करता है, जो भगवान के साथ में हार्मनी नहीं रखता, मंत्र 2 के हिसाब से, मंत्र 3 में ये वार्निंग दी गई है कि वो आत्मा को मारने वाला माना जाएगा। और आत्मा क्या है? आत्मा सत्य चित्त आनंद। द सोल, द इटर्नल नेचर ऑफ द सोल इज बीइंग द सर्वेंट ऑफ द लॉर्ड, एंड the spiritual status is Satya Chitta Ananda. So Satya Chitta Ananda is eternal conscious bliss. But the person will be considered as killer of the soul. So the person will not be happy at all, and that person will end up to the hellish conditions. And again, hellish conditions could be here on the planet as well, like we have seen in many countries what's happening around the world. And it could be anywhere. It could be in London, it could be in Ukraine, it could be in many places in India as well. तो इस तरीके से हम इस वर्ष को समझ सकते हैं कि क्या बताया जा रहा है। और ऐसा ही बहुत सारे हमारे शास्त्रों के अंदर एग्जाम्पल हैं कि जो लोग ये अगर हम देखें तो वाल्मीकि हैं, जो पहले नारद मुनि, उनको, वो पहले एक हंटर थे, और कहते हैं कि वो ऐसे थे कि वो जानवरों को मारते थे लेकिन अधमरा मार के छोड़ देते थे, और वो ये कहते थे कि उनको ऐसे तड़पता हुआ देखकर मुझको बहुत मजा आता है। लेकिन नारद मुनि, अगेन डिवोटी, नारद मुनि एक भक्त हैं, तो उनको वो जानवरों की पीड़ा भी थी, लेकिन उससे ज्यादा उनको ये पीड़ा थी कि ये जो व्याध है, ये जो व्याध हम कहते हैं कि ऐसा मनुष्य जो जानवर की ही तरह है, ये जो इंसान है ये खुद कितनी पीड़ा में है जो दूसरे की पीड़ा को देखकर आनंद उठाता है। तो इन्होंने आके उनको ज्ञान दिया, और फिर पूरा एक पास टाइम है। उस पास टाइम के बाद ये इतने बदल गए कि उसके बाद में ये ऐसे हो गए कि नीचे चलती हुई चींटियों को भी वो अपने कपड़ों पे रखकर रास्ता पार करा रहे हैं कि कोई रास्ते से आ रहा है तो इन चींटियों के ऊपर ना चले। ग्रंथ, ज्ञान और नारद मुनि जैसे प्योर भक्त के साथ से एक इंसान किस कॉन्शियसनेस तक पहुंच सकता है, उसका ये एक ग्रेट एग्जाम्पल है। The way somebody could transform his or her consciousness. This is a great example. And this is where we understand Īśopaniṣad principle. Now he used to consider himself as the traitor. And he wanted to own everything. He used to steal, he used to murder. Now he wants to serve everyone. And if we see any spiritual person, doesn't really matter which religion somebody belongs to, that person always would like to serve others. If the person is spiritual, how do we know? If a tree is good, full of fruits, how do we know? The tree will bend down to give fruits to others. And the tree which will not have fruits will stand maybe tall, high, but alone, no fruits, nothing. So devotees are like those trees full of fruits. तो भक्त ऐसे होते हैं जो हमेशा दूसरों के लिए एक कल्प वृक्ष की तरह दूसरों को फल, फ्रूट्स, छाया जो भी दे सकते हैं वो देने की उनकी कोशिश होती है. Anything we have discussed so far, any comments, compliments on any of those past times we have discussed, any question? किसी का कोई भी प्रश्न हमने अभी तक जो भी पढ़ा, जो भी डिस्कस किया? हरे कृष्ण. माता जी, please.
Yes, I didn't understand the killer of the soul because, yeah, can you expand it, please?
Okay, sure. Mataji, let's go further because we will see the definition of suras and asuras, and maybe not today, but we will contemplate more on killer of the soul.
Okay, all right.
Because this is the main word in this whole verse, killer of the soul. So we will see more on it, Mataji. Thank you for letting me know. Hare Krishna. So now, the difference between suras and asuras, and how do we consider that asuras are the one who kills the soul? So if we understand this, and then now the time is coming to the end, but when we will resume next week, then we will emphasize more on this killer of the soul, how and who could be considered as that, and then we will conclude this mantra. But just to have this verse, what it says, asura, and we see on the bottom, asura, A-S-U-R-A. So S is multiple, asuras, many. Otherwise, A-S-U, asu means breath, and ra means enjoy. So somebody who enjoys in every breath, right? And when we talk about the suras, these are the ones, they don't want to have material enjoyment in themselves. So if I read this definition, maybe the last minute, human life is distinguished from animal life due to its heavy responsibility and responsibility to serve those who are cognizant, like mentally developed of these responsibilities and who work in that spirit. So spiritual spirit are called suras, godly persons. So those who remember that we are not material body, we are spiritual souls, and they act according to that principle, they are considered as suras. And those who are neglectful, we talked about faithless, darkness, and ignorance, who are neglectful of their responsibilities, or who have no information, they're ignorant of them, no responsibility, no cognizance, no mental stability to understand that what is the purpose of our life. It's not just to enjoy cricket or do the politics, keep watching Bollywood movies, even though I'm not criticizing anyone who might do all those things. But life is not only limited to that. The higher purpose is to inquire what this life is all about and take the responsibility and serve the humanity in whichever respect we can. Those who follow this, they are suras. Those who don't, they are demons. They are asuras. Hare Krishna. Now, this is on intelligent human beings, and we will see more on the way it's been. But today, what we have covered, we've done a bit of revision. We have seen mantra 3. And so again, Om Purnamada, then Ishvara Vasyam principle, then the attachment to Krishna. And then if we will not attach, we will fall into the faithless, full of darkness and ignorant, neglectful places. They are considered as the hell, which could be here on this planet. And of course, the mention of 28 hells later on as well, when we will leave this planet. So hopefully it's been inspiring that what we should do, and we should always try to inquire the true nature of ourselves. With that, I take your leave for today. Thank you so much for your association. Look forward to see every one of you to conclude verse 3 and this whole theme of invocation mantra 1, 2, 3 next. And then following that, we will move on to the next theme of Shri Īśopaniṣad. Thank you so much for your
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Gurudev Maharaj ki jai. Samved Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Hare Krishna. Hare